YouTube, what's going on? If you're new here, my name is Roger. I'm at a company called QVO Tactical, where we make holsters and gear, and also film content for this channel. In today's video, we are taking a look at a polymer platform that I've actually been a fan of for quite a while. This particular model, I think, is one of those guns that can be dual purpose. What I mean by that is this could be the perfect gun for competition shooting or your duty firearm for patrol. I'm talking about the 5-inch M&P9 2.0 Core Performance Center from Smith & Wesson. Hands! Now, as always, I like to give you guys full transparency on how I go about getting these products in for review. You all know our good buddy Ken from Profectus Group. He was actually out visiting a little while ago, and while he was here, we had a range day. I had a chance to shoot his M&P9 Compact. This immediately made me miss shooting the M&P platform. Ken then connected me with the awesome team from Smith & Wesson, and they offered to send us a few guns to shoot some content with, in addition to using for holster fitment. Big shout outs to Ken, Vince, Anna, and Corey for supporting our brand and our channel. We greatly appreciate it. Okay, so before we get into the range footage, let's go over the specs of the M&P9 5-inch Performance Center. So this particular model is the Core model. Core stands for Competition Optics Ready Slide, which includes their mounting kit for a variety of popular red dot optics. We chose to go with the Trijicon SRO as it offers one of the largest windows when it comes to the handgun optics. You'll find a perfectly aggressive OEM stippling on the grip, which I found was just the right amount of texture that I needed. You'll also notice suppressor height sights for that co-witness that we all want. With the Trijicon SRO, it keeps the irons super low so they don't impede with your sight picture. You'll also notice some window cuts along the slide that tie in nicely with the 5-inch stainless steel barrel with 2 ports to reduce muzzle rise. This gun also has a nice rail section that allows you to use awesome weapon lights like this Surefire X300 Ultra right here. Now, this particular model will come with a handy cleaning kit, 2 17-round magazines, and 4 interchangeable back straps. I have to say that Smith & Wesson is definitely offering a lot, considering this entire setup has an MSRP of only $775. One thing I do want to note here, since I wanted to show this gun for both competition and duty use, I wanted to get an oversized Magwell. After looking at all the different ones out there, the Springer Precision Limited Magwell just stuck out to me as the best looking one, and I have to say after using it, it functions just as great as it looks. I reached out to the Springer Precision team and told them about the video that I was producing, and they were kind enough to send us out a Magwell and 3 base pads so that we could include them in this video review. As you'll see later on in this video, reloads are a breeze with this setup. Thank you to the Springer Precision team for their support with our channel. Alright, with the specs out of the way, let's get into the range portion. Now, I wanted to show this gun in both a competition setting as well as a patrol setting. In order to accomplish this task, I of course had to have multiple range sessions. The first one we did was actually featured in one of our more recent videos on the different handgun weapon lights currently offered on the market. During that range session, John, Paul, and I all took the time to run this M&P Performance Center. We actually started by everyone taking a turn shooting it for the first time, and here's that footage now. Alright guys, these are going to be the first, I think I got like 14 rounds in here, but first rounds through the M&P9 Performance Center. You guys know I like my ported guns. Let's see how it is. Yeah, I like it.
That is awesome.
All right, John's first rounds to the M&P Performance Center. Go for it, bud.
Nice. Pretty flat.
So this was our first time shooting it, and from there we went into some low light drills using the awesome targets from Dynamic Target Solutions. I'll explain a quick rundown of that setup right here. All right guys, we're out on the range now. We have the Dynamic Target Solutions setup. I'm actually going to run you through the course to kind of explain what we're doing before we go into all the footage. So John's got a controller here. As you can see, there'll be a full breakdown in a different video on the entire target solution, but for this video, I'm just going to kind of explain what we're doing. The controller controls 4 different targets to kind of give you a shoot, no shoot situation. Paul doesn't know exactly what it looks like yet, but we can mix it up every single time. So I'm gonna have the camera follow me walking through here. Paul is actually gonna be over here. We'll start here, and then we'll give him the command of up, and this simulates a hallway. So entering here, he'll do whatever tactic he wants, pieing it, just peeking it, whatever. If he quick peeks it, and so say John has control of the target system, so he'll activate it. And if he activates one of the targets here, boom, that would be a shoot. He engages that one. The other thing that's going on here, go ahead and activate number 2 for me. So that guy's a no shoot, so if John activates no shoot and he activates the shoot on 1, I have to position myself in a place to where I don't over penetrate the bad guy and shoot the innocent. So I might have to extend further out and engage him to where I have a clear backdrop. So it's just that kind of stuff. And we'll keep going through here. Once these guys are down, John will move them out the way. And then now I start coming out here, and this is like walking out into an open room. And so I see 2 targets, and now I'm scanning. I'll have my weapon light out, and I'm looking, and then John, boom, if he activated that guy, I would engage. And then I look, scan, do everything. This guy, and he's doesn't need to be engaged. So that's kind of the scenario we're setting up. It's to practice using weapon light techniques on the pistol, and we brought every light out here. We got obviously the Mod Light PL350, we have the X300, the TLR9, a TLR1 HL, and we're gonna have everybody try them out. I brought my old school pressure pad for my X300 that I used when I was on duty as well, because I really do like that thing. But it's just gonna give us a chance to play with all the different weapon lights in the closest thing I can make to a real scenario in regards to when I was on patrol clearing houses here in Vegas. So yeah, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna try it out and let's see how it goes. Okay, so Paul and I both took a run on the training setup using the 5-inch M&P9 Performance Center. After each run, we made sure to check hits, and here's that footage as well. All right, guys, I'm going to take a run at the stage now. I'm running the M&P9 Performance Center, the 5-inch compensated model with the Surefire X300 and the Trijicon SRO. I'm actually going to run my stage using only the momentary feature of the X300. That's typically what I did use when I ran this light before, or I had a pressure pad for it. I know that one of the debates right now is momentary versus constant. I've never been a constant on or off guy with the handgun weapon lights. I'm training with them more now that we have the PL350 out in the market and getting used to it, trying it out. But I do want to run this momentary only because I want to see how I do in regards to accuracy. For the X300, if you're not familiar, you push forward on the thumb pad and it activates it with pressure. For me, that's super intuitive because I have a thumbs forward grip, so my thumb actually goes right into it and presses it forward. So I'll run it and see how we do and see how I get to the stage. So I'll turn this light around. John, you good?
I'm ready.
All right. Start the buzzer, here we go. Shooter ready, stand by. Hands, hands! And clear. All right, so ran the whole stage. I'll back out here real quick. 21.2 seconds. I'm gonna grab this pen, we'll go mark our hits. Turn this light around. All right, we'll go mark these hits now. We'll swing around here, see how I did here. So I came around the corner and I saw part of this shoulder, and then I also saw the target behind. However, I couldn't see if the guy behind had a weapon. So I took a knee and shot one here, and then this guy here. So 2 center mass shots. The reason I took a knee, I can't tell what my backdrop was, so I wanted to drop to get my rounds to go upwards just in case the target behind this bad guy was an innocent bystander. So we'll go check this guy out. He actually wasn't. He was holding a shotgun, I believe. Yep. And let's see. Got him here in his arm, here in the gun, here in the upper chest, again in the heart. And those were the rounds on him. All good hits. And then, yeah, it's a circle already. Now we'll go look at these guys. So this guy, I started seeing as the target turned around, and I want to show me your hand, standard command. but then all of a sudden he's got, you know, M4 Commando here. So I got one shot here on the rib cage, and then in the hand, in the trigger finger, center mass areas. So, oh, and then one more down here. So good 4 hits using the pressure pad. I did notice here for me, when I was engaging the pressure pad, pushing out on the gun, I did push it too far forward, and it immediately went to constant on, which was fine. My grip was the same. And then when I went to turn the light back off, all I did was push my knuckle back down on it to turn it off. And then this guy had a cell phone, so I didn't shoot him. Nobody shot him yet. All of these holes are from the target the other way. So anyway, running the X300 with the momentary only, I had no problems running the stage. Again, that's what I'm used to though, so that's how I've trained. But we'll try it using the constant feature and the other lights as well and see how we do. All right, Paul is actually gonna check out the M&P9 Performance Center and running the X300 because he hasn't done that yet, right?
Correct.
All right, here we go, bud. Shooter ready?
Yep.
Turn the light back around, bud, so you don't have the studio light. Perfect, here we go. You ready, John?
Ready.
All right, stand by.
Drop it!
And clear. All right, let's check these hits. All right, Paul, show us the hits.
First 3 were this guy. I put them all in the head.
Nice.
Move over to this guy who presented himself at me, and I gave him 3 to the face as well. 2, 3.
Nice having a zeroed gun, huh?
It is nice having a zero gun. Then we had this guy, and if I'm correct, yes I am. I gave him 1, 2, 3, and I guess this is me right here.
Bro, where you going?
Jail. This one I really felt like I pulled a shot, so I wouldn't be surprised if I did, but it looks like I didn't. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4.
Nice,
There he is.
M&P Performance Center, what you think?
That is a super flat shooting gun. The grip angle is fantastic. The dot just never leaves the window and it just tracks.
I don't care what people say, man. SRO, yeah, duty use for me.
It's sweet little optic. I used the constant on feature the whole time.
Cool.
Just pushing the paddle up and then back down.
I found myself after playing with that rolling knuckle technique I was showing you with the PL350. I do the same thing on the X300 when I want to.
Yeah, 100%.
Cool.
So for me, running this platform felt super natural. The grip angle for me is very similar to that of a 1911 or a 2011, which you all know is my favorite platform. And just like Paul said, with the ported longer barrel, you can easily track the dot in the large SRO window. I also want to talk about the Trijicon SRO for a second here. It is marketed as not for duty use. However, I've dropped the hell out of this thing while out on the range, and it's held up just fine. There's been no zeroing issues, no glass breakage. So for me, I'd still rock it no problem. It also has that setting for night vision, so yeah, there's that. Now, I also want to address a previous question that I saw in a video regarding the exact setup that I'm running. You'll notice that with the larger SRO optic, it does hang over quite far. The M&P lineup does come with a loaded chamber indicator, which ends up being directly below the front of the optic. The question that was asked was about hindered visibility with the gas coming from the gun into the window. I'm happy to report, while it does get a little dirty, it's not anything to be worried about. I'd say between the range session, the competition match, and the class, I use the gun in. I've got about 800 rounds through this gun so far, and as you can see here, I can still pick up my red dot and see through the window just fine.
Now, speaking of the competition match, let's get into that footage now. For those not aware, there is pretty much some type of shooting match every weekend here in Las Vegas. Most of the times, I look for the matches put on by the Silver State Practical Shooting Club. They have their matches at Pro Gun Club, which is just outside of Vegas. It's about a 45-minute drive from my house up here in Summerlin. Anyway, I reached out to my buddy Marco Cabahug to see if he would be shooting the next match and if I could tag along. Luckily for me, Marco was in town and was down to shoot the match. If you haven't heard of Marco, I would definitely recommend checking him out on Instagram. He's actually ranked in the top 20 shooters in the world. He is currently sponsored by Superveil Ammunition, Dissident Arms, Terran Tactical, and Hunter's HD Gold. If you go to a local match here in Vegas, definitely try to get on his squad because you will learn a lot that day watching him run the stages. Anyway, I went to the match and ran the M&P 5-inch Performance Center. I had a blast, and I did a lot better than I thought I was, considering that I haven't been to a match in over a year. Out of the 32 shooters, I ended up getting 6th place overall, and I was happy to take down that Polish plate rack and that Texas Star with no issues. I even managed to get Marco to shoot the M&P on a couple stages, and I asked him to kind of give his thoughts on the platform, so here's that footage now.
Pretty consistent tracking. You can feel that port working its job, so. Just the bounce is a little different compared to what I'm used to. I usually shoot Glocks and 2011s, but these guns are always freaking solid. And I usually prefer the standard flat trigger, not the halfway Smith & Wesson style, but the gun is freaking great, so. Not bad. Yeah, the Smith guns always have a really good grip. That's what I like about these things. They point pretty well, and the texture is pretty good where you don't have to stipple them. Trigger's a little mushy, but I mean, that's a stock trigger out of the box, so you can always put a better one in there later. Otherwise, the porting you can sort of feel with the 124s as usual. Get more gas out of it. I'd wonder what the 115s would feel like. But...
Thank you, sir.
Again, I haven't shot a match in over a year, and I was pretty stoked to get 6th place with this new gun. I like to take new guns to matches because you get the added stress from competition, and this also lets me know quickly what works for me and what doesn't when trying out different guns. I'm happy to say that the gun performed beautifully, and the Springer Precision Magwell definitely made reloads super easy, especially while on the move. Okay, so moving on to the last range portion of this video. Our friend Brittany May, who owns Point Firearms Instruction here in town, was actually teaching her in-depth handgun class. I thought this was a perfect opportunity to get even more familiar with this new platform, so I reached out and asked if I could come to the class. Brittany said I could come out and film some more content on this gun, so that's exactly what I did. During her class, we ran through a variety of drills that help you get familiar with your trigger. You practice different methods of fixing malfunctions, and you also shoot from different positions like kneeling and upside down prone. This is definitely a class that I would suggest everyone take if purchasing a new gun. Like shooting a match, this class will also show you what you like and don't like about a gun you've recently purchased. Okay, so after bringing the Smith & Wesson M&P 5-inch Performance Center to a low-light training session, a competition match, and a handgun course, I'm happy to report that I did not experience a single malfunction. I primarily ran 124 grain 9mm through the gun, and I did not experience any malfunctions from the gun itself, the magazines, or the Springer Precision base plates. Everything ran flawlessly. If you are looking for something that's ready to go out of the box for duty or competition, then I think you should be looking at the M&P 2.0 5-inch Performance Center. You'd be pretty solid going that route. Now, we all know I like my ported guns, and this footage right here is why. That was me shooting 124 grain 9mm at 100 frames per second. You can also see that the gun just comes right back to zero, allowing me to track the dot the entire time it's cycling. Definitely helpful for follow-up shots and for shooting multiple targets. Now, earlier I said by taking a new gun to a class or a competition match, it will help you find out what works and what doesn't work for you in regards to that new gun. While a lot of things really worked well for me with the 5-inch Performance Center, there were a couple things that I wasn't fond of. The first is the trigger, and it has nothing to do with the brake or the reset, guys. I found all of that stuff easy to hear, easy to feel, good to go. It was the amount of take-up before the shot breaks. Now, these do come with the ability to adjust the over travel, but I was
fine with that from the factory. I actually was really liking the amount of take up when dry firing at home, but when I got out to the range and actually ran the gun, I found myself thinking the trigger was going to break much sooner, which gave me that dreaded flinch of anticipation. There's going to be two easy fixes for this. The first one is to get the apex trigger, and the other is to run the gun more until I'm used to it, which kind of already happened by the time I got to Brittany's class. I was pretty much used to the trigger, and I was able to prep it, get right to the wall, and break the shot, no problems, no flinching. Now for a duty gun, I definitely want some pre-travel. However, I think if this pre-travel was maybe cut in half, it would be perfect. Please consider, guys, I primarily shoot 2011s, which do not have that much pre-travel, so it could just be me. The other thing I wasn't liking about the Performance Center 2.0 was the new extended slide stops. Again, something during dry fire that I was really digging. However, when I got out on the range, I noticed that because I run such a high grip, the palm of my support hand was actually pressing down on it. This would prevent the slide from locking to the rear on an empty magazine. Again, another simple fix is just switching back to the smaller slide stop. Other than those two things, guys, I found the gun very enjoyable to shoot. So my overall thoughts on the 5-inch M&P9 2.0 Performance Center. It's a really sweet gun, guys. Right out of the box, you are getting something that is such a good deal for your money. Now for me, there is a bit of nostalgia. I mean, ever since back in 2010 when I saw Chris Costa, Travis Haley running M&Ps in the Art of the Dynamic Handgun video from Magwell, I was just like, man, I need one of those. If you haven't seen this video, then I definitely recommend checking that out as well. I remember a lot of different agencies first being exposed to thumbs forward grip from this video, which was something I remember guys showing all the way back in 2004. But yeah, if you're looking for something that won't break the bank, performs excellently in both a duty and competition capacity, then I'd say it's going to be hard to beat the Smith & Wesson 2.0 Core Performance Center. I know right away, also, some of you guys are going to ask me if I would choose this over a 2011. The answer is no. 2011s are my favorite. However, not all police departments authorize 2011s for carry on duty. And if I worked on one of those departments, then I would definitely go with this setup in this exact configuration as my duty gun. I always get questions about our holsters and the gear we use in the videos. So this is actually our secondary on the waistband holster with the Bougie 3D fabric overlay. You can find them on our website, qvotactical.com. They come with a paddle you can put on a regular belt, or you can switch it out and attach a Safariland QLS fork, and then it'll pop right onto your battle belts. The ear pro that I use are the Axel GS Extremes. They are my preferred in-ear hearing protection, and with that link down below in the description, you can actually save 35% on a pair of your own. So please check out that, and also watch the review video on them if you need further information. Well guys, that's gonna wrap up today's video. If you liked the video, please give us a thumbs up down below. If you're new here, consider subscribing because we post new videos every week. If you want to support the channel, please check out that Patreon link down below. Our Patreon squad is a huge reason why we keep creating these videos for you guys all to check out. Thank you guys, we appreciate you. As always, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.